We got ourselves another big day in college football. Who do y'all like? You putting your money up? Let's talk some over-unders and some money lines with Tim Murray of VSin live from Vegas. Tim, it's going to be, we got some really great college football games going on, which means everyone here in New York City is ready to bet on these things. So let's get straight into this. We got Tennessee, who played Alabama tough last week, at Kentucky. Who takes it? Who do you like?
Yeah, this is a spot where I love to back the dog here. I'm going to take Kentucky as a 4-point underdog against Tennessee. You know, situationally, I like to look at this from the college football side of things. And Brandon, you could attest to it as a former college player yourself. You know, they just had a huge game, as you alluded to, Tennessee on the road, taking on Alabama. You know, that is the third Saturday in October rivalry. Winner gets to smoke some cigars, and Tennessee headed into the locker rooms in Tuscaloosa up 13, 20-7, and got outscored 27-0. And now, after that game, they got to go back on the road and take on Kentucky, who just had a bye week. Look, Kentucky, past two games that they've played have not been great. 3 weeks ago against Georgia, they got ran off the field, and that followed up with a loss at home to Missouri. But I do think the bye week came at a good time for Big Blue Nation. I think they'll be able to run the ball pretty well against Tennessee. Night game in Lexington. I expect a great atmosphere, and I'm going to take the points with the home team here against Tennessee.
I like it. Kentucky offensive coordinator Liam Cohen was my quarterback at UMass in college. So I didn't know if you knew that or not, but I like the pick. I like the pick right there. Let's go. We've got unbeaten, number 5, Washington, playing against Stanford. Thoughts? Should be an easy win, right?
It should be, yeah. I mean, you're going to the Farm, which is always a sleepy spot there. Stanford, you know, in a rebuild situation with Troy Taylor. Stanford, remember, last time we saw, or 2 weeks ago, we saw the Cardinal have one of the most remarkable comebacks on the road in Boulder, coming from 29 down at the half to win in overtime against Colorado. But, you know, I'm not a big proponent. If you listen to me on VSin or my betting podcast, I don't love laying big numbers. So I'm not going to play this one, but this is kind of a bounce back spot, Brandon. You know, you look back to last week, Michael Penix Jr. entered the game against Arizona State as the favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. They go out, he doesn't throw a touchdown pass against the Sun Devils. And honestly, they were fortunate at home to escape with a victory against Arizona State. They got a late pick 6. So I do think this is a bit of a bounce back opportunity here for Washington to reemerge as one of the better teams in college football. The road ahead is not easy. So for the Huskies, take care of business, you know, re-emphasize that Michael Penix Jr. is a legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate.
I like how you're not biting the cheese on that one. No one likes to play those big games. It's a rat trap, absolute rat trap when it comes to Vegas getting their money. All of New York is watching this game because I feel like everybody that loves college football in New York is from the Big Ten. We've got number 3, Ohio State versus Wisconsin. Who do you like on that one?
Yeah, you can't walk down the streets in the Mid-Atlantic. I'm from D.C. Everybody goes to Big Ten country, right? D.C., Philly, New York. I'm sure the bars in New York City will be popping one way or another, cheering for the Badgers or cheering for Ohio State. Look, I expect a phenomenal atmosphere at Madison. Camp Randall is one of the best places to take in a football game. It's going to be cold. It's not going to be snowy, but it's going to be cold. It's going to be football weather up there in Madison, Wisconsin. Wisconsin, big comeback last week for them. They had to go to their backup quarterback, Tanner Mordecai, out for the year. The transfer from SMU, they go to Braden Locke, who played well in the fourth quarter. They were able to get that win over Illinois. As for Ohio State, we talked about letdown spots. You know, Tennessee coming off a loss to Alabama. Ohio State put it to Penn State. Really impressive performance there. As you mentioned, this is a pretty big spread, 14.5 right now for Ohio State. I would lean a little bit toward the dog, but the way that I would look in this one, Brandon, would be the under. I love this Ohio State defense. We know defense travels. Jim Knowles, the D coordinator of Ohio State, for my money, might be the best defensive coordinator in college football. He's phenomenal. They got dudes everywhere. They're getting one of their top corners back as well for the Buckeyes. So I think it's an ugly game. Classic Big Ten, cold. I think it's a low-scoring affair. I would look under, if anything, in this one.
Yeah, I just want to watch Marvin Harrison Jr. do his thing.
Oh, he's so good.
Absolutely. He might be 14 points just by himself. And the last game of the night, which is way past my bedtime, we've got number 11, Oregon State versus Arizona. Final thoughts on that one?
Look, you haven't lived if you haven't played put a little money on a Pac-12 after dark game. This is where you got to go. And the Pac-12 has that moniker for a reason, because weird things happen late at night. Look, full disclosure, I was a big believer in Oregon State preseason. I played them over their win total, took a little bit on them to win the Pac-12. I really like what I've seen from this team. DJ Uiagalelei is thriving there as the Oregon State quarterback, transferring from Clemson. They got some big-time running backs, but I'll tell you what, Arizona, Jed Fish, this head coach, early in his tenure there, they've started to turn things around. Arizona is a legitimate defensive team now, and as I said, weird things happen at night. I'm getting a home team catching a couple points. And as I like to say, sometimes lines are a little fishy. You've got the 11th ranked team in the country in Oregon State, only a 3-point favorite on the road. We're going to embrace that stink. We're going to take the home dog in this spot late night. So while the folks are getting out of those bars in New York City, they can look up and see, what, Arizona? They're winning this game? Yeah, I think it's going to be the case. As much to my chagrin, because I love the Beavs, I'm going to take Arizona in this spot as a home upset.
Nothing like a little Pac-10 after dark, especially if you put some money down, you wake up, and then bam, they can replenish that bank account that they're spending on these New York City bars. Tim, tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, each and every weeknight you can catch me on VSin from 6 to 9 p.m. VSin Primetime. And if you want a little more college football in your life, the VSin College Football Betting Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, thanks for joining us, man.
Of course.